Here's the before shot. Okay, so that was a 2-hour workout. I was thinking about going for a run after this, but don't need it. Don't need the extra exercise. I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so I spent the last 2 hours working on the cab. I actually haven't touched the hood, which is going to be the next thing, but maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. I made a big mistake. One of the body filling videos suggested working the body filler shortly after it started to set up. You know, like at some point after the point where it you know, is tacky, but before it's fully hardened, and because it's a lot less work. Because boy, that was a lot of work sanding this stuff down. Now you can see some pretty obvious low spots. There's where there's some voids. There's a spot where that didn't get touched. For the most part, it's not too bad there. You can see on this dent here, there's a low spot there as well. Low spot right there. A void right there. Not too bad along here. Big low spot here on the cab corner. I'll try and step back a bit here, but you can see I was touching on the edge here and on this corner here and here, and yet this bottom section wasn't getting anything. So there's at least a little bit more of a void there. It's going to need some filling there as well. Over here, this needs to be taken down. That looks like it should have been knocked down, but judging by the fact that I was hitting over here and not there, low spot there and some pinholes here. Boy, it's going to need at least one more bit of glop here. Some didn't turn out so bad, but I figured out something. I was watching or read an internet post on one forum, and I wish I remembered which one it was because it might be helpful to some people. But the guy was basically doing almost the whole panel with filler and then sanding that back, and that actually now looks like it wouldn't have been that bad an idea, because spots like this one that looked like a very minor dent actually were quite a lot larger. You can see right there that I was wearing it down to the original paint all the way around it, yet this whole area and barely any of that filler got touched. Even this spot, which got done fairly well, which was just a fill for a trim stud that I removed, shows that the cab wasn't that even here. Yeah, so that corner is going to require probably nearly as much work. You can see the same story here. I was hitting it here with a long board here and there, but this spot here did get sanded down pretty good, but obviously it wasn't getting touched there, and nothing was happening here. And there's actually a sizable step here, probably 1/16 of an inch. Oy. Anyways, that was a lot of hard work. And the last thing I did was I was doing some stuff on the roof, and originally I thought that there was only these two dents here, but as I went and I worked around them, I saw that you could actually, I went and I took the longboard, and I can see there's a depression there, there's a depression there, there's a depression there, and I'll go around to the other side and I'll show you some of the other stuff. This is 3 minutes into this video. Hopefully you're not too bored. I was using 80 grit for all of this work on the filler, and that's what was recommended by K25 and a few other guys. K25 is the guy who toots, or whatever the hell he does. He's the host of Trucks, and he did the paintification videos. Now I found out something interesting here. There must be either a spot weld right here from the cab to the inner spot here, or maybe it's just a spot where some of the inner structure is touching the top of the door skin, because it goes all the way along at a fairly regular interval. But the rest of the cab didn't look too bad. It was only along the front that I was seeing some depressions. That might be a low spot right there. It ended up that the epoxy and the original paint underneath became like a guide coat. You can see that I filled this in, and that's going to need a lot more blending along the forward edge of this seam. The backward edge of the seam wasn't too bad, and I probably won't do too much with it because it came out fairly well with the longboard. But here you can see I probably needed to blend it out about 2 inches. So never be sparing with your body filler. There's no point. It's getting sanded off anyways. Might as well use lots regardless. Oh, and I did a little bit of getting rid of some of the runs, some runs right there that I touched on a bit, but I'm going to go back at it again. But I didn't figure it was going to be too big a deal because I'm going to give this 3 coats of the 2K high build primer from Nason. Just in case you're curious, here's the boards that I was using. This one here is about, I think it's about, what, 10 inches long, I think. That my span of my hand right there is about 6. And same again for this rounded one. This is a smaller one that I thought was supposed to be a lot more flexible, but these are quite hard. That's one thing that's missing from my my collection of sanding boards, is some more flexible ones. Anyways, we're 5 minutes into this video. I've been trying to make them shorter because I don't want it to be quite so dull, but I figure that this might be interesting because you can kind of get a mental image of some of the things here. Like you can see this spot right here. I filled a spot where there was a trim stud that I removed, and you can actually see that blended not too badly there with the long board. Same with that one, that one, that one. It was only that one that was where there was actually, it wasn't a trim stud, that was actually a dent. And that trim stud, you can actually see right around it. I didn't do any filling on it. You can actually see that the primer wasn't touched. And you can actually see a run that was knocked down quite a lot as well. Anyways, we're up to the 6-minute mark here. And I'm going to knock off. I did just that little spot in the cabin. It just made it look worse. So I'm going to have to put some body filler on it for no good reason other than because I know it's there. Okay, well, I hope this has been educational. I hope it hasn't been too long. So I'll see you tomorrow.